Welcome to the Hub on Hollywood. I'm your host, Jamie Blanco. James Rojas will be back with us next week. This week, we have an interview with the talented, very talented local actor Brandon Scales. I have a review of the family film If, but first, a production kicking off on Martha's Vineyard this week is creating some buzz. Hollywood, back on the vineyard. It's not Jaws this time, but crews for the adaptation of Judy Blume's 1975 novel Forever are in the area. The Vineyard Haven Terminal was the scene of some of this filming. The Steamship Authority shared some photos on their social media, which was very exciting for them. It's a love story, obviously, directed by Mara Block. And it looks like the actors are having a really great time. This is starring Simone Love, I believe, and Michael Cooper Jr. are the leads, so this is going to be a fun one. Boston Casting is responsible for the casting on this one. They're looking for people. They're looking for people of African American descent between the ages of 6 and 60 who already live out there on Martha's Vineyard. Because of the ferry schedules and logistics involved with getting extras out there, they're just looking for local residents right now. So if you haven't already reached out to Boston Casting, it's Martha's Vineyard Extras at gmail.com. Send them your contact information, a photo, and maybe you get to be in a Judy Blume film currently in production on the Vineyard. Dead City Season 2 also still in production right now in various locations around New England. They're going to be shooting through the summer, so that's really exciting. KendallCooperCasting.com for that one if you'd like to have a chance to be in Dead City. Maybe you want to be a walker. Maybe you want to be a soldier. Lots of opportunities there, and very exciting one at that. Lots of great photos from fans who have been camped outside of the sets and catching lots of great footage of the zombies, of Negan, and all of that. So that one is really cool. Also very cool, our interview with a very talented local actor. Right now he is starring in an upcoming short film called Trumpet, Gumbo. So without further ado, here is our interview with Mr. Brandon Scales. A New England actor. He's worked across from some of the biggest names in the biz. He's worked 3 times with Mark Wahlberg. Is that right?
Absolutely. Yes, 3 times.
Opposite Taika Waititi, Ryan Reynolds, and Jodie Comer in Free Guy. Got his big break on the set of Patriot Day and is now promoting a new proof of concept film called Trumpet, Gumbo. So much to talk about here. Brandon,
yes.
Thank you for being with us on the Hub on Hollywood.
Hey, thank you. I'm going to take my jacket off and get nice and comfortable. I'm so excited to be here. Okay. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Like I told you before we started recording here, we love having local talent on the podcast, anyone involved with filmmaking, especially here in New England. So why don't you start off by telling us a little bit about how you got into acting, why this was your dream, how you got into acting, and then we'll talk about how you got your big break.
Absolutely. So, I started off watching movies as a child. I love all types of movies, shows. I spent all my time in front of a television, and when I was younger, it was like being on TV was like some kind of distant thing that only special people got to do. And of course, I wanted to be special too. So I wanted to be inside the TV like everyone else. And I started off doing plays in elementary school, way back in early 90s. And from there, I went to middle school. I got into the drama club. When everyone else was playing football and everything, I wanted to do drama. And so I did that. And, some time went by and found myself on the set of TED 2 and, was like kind of teetering on whether or not I really wanted to do this. And, I kind of caught the bug from there and was like, hey, you know what, this is it. I'm gonna stick with it, and that's pretty much how I got started.
Amazing. And I do a lot of background too, and I had been letting you know before, and some people who watch the Hub on Hollywood know that, James is a journalist. I started off as a journalist, and there came a day where it's like, hey, let me check this out. They're looking for background on a film here or a TV show there, and you get the bug. When you're on set and you see how the movie is made and put together, and it's just, what about it excited you?
I think, the job I had before that, I was a bank teller, and I remember sitting behind that teller line at the bank, and on a nice, beautiful day, just looking out the window and being like, man, I'm stuck in this building for another 8 hours.
Mm.
And so when I finally got on the movie set, which I mean, I was extremely happy to be there, and when I finally got on the set, and I remember watching Mark Wahlberg, do his thing, and I was just thinking like, man, what a cool job he has. That's what I thought then. What a
Yeah.
cool job he has, and I just wanted to do that. I mean, I feel like, making movies is a privilege, and
Hmm.
being an actor is a privilege. I've had a lot of jobs in the past. I've dug ditches, I've cleaned pipes, I've had some tough jobs. And so, to be able to do this and earn a
Yeah.
living from it, to me is, I mean, it's a no-brainer. Like, why wouldn't you want to,
Yeah.
right?
And it's telling stories in such a beautiful way, such
Yeah.
a cool way. So tell us about this big break of yours. So you were doing background,
Yeah.
and then something happened. The thing that every background actor dreams about happened to you. Tell us about
Yeah.
it.
So I mean, we were on the set of Patriots Day, and I mean, I remember a couple of years before that, the actual event happening, and like, how much it devastated the city. And so I was really happy to be on the set. And, I wound up on the set as a background actor, a non-union background actor at that. And when I got on the set, there was my partner that was in the scene with me. It was him and a couple of other people, but his name was Matt Florio. Shout out to Matt.
Mm.
I said to Matt, I said,
Up, Matt.
Matt, this movie is serious, and I'm noticing a lot of these background actors really want to be in front of the camera. Let's not try to do that. Let's actually, if we're in the background, let's really add to this. Let's really be
Mm.
immersed in this and whatever this is. And so he was like, you know what, I'm with you. We started doing that. Other background actors seen it, and they were like, hey, you know what? We're gonna join in, and we all came up with our own little scenario of like what it was we were doing. They said, Brandon, you can play our supervisor, and you're gonna be on the phones and yada yada. So we did it. The director Peter Berg saw what we were doing in the background and
Hmm.
liked it, and he comes over to me. He's like, I want him to say something,
Yeah.
and everyone was looking, and I was like, oh wow. So, the good thing about filming that movie is we actually had the first responders there, the ones that
Yeah.
actually, were at the marathon bombing, the ones that worked the case. And so he says to the FBI agent, he's like, what would he say if he was on the phones? And so the FBI agent's like, oh, well, he would say this and he would say that. Pete's like, are you writing this down? I'm like, yes, I'm writing it
Hmm.
down. He's like, okay, you ready? Action.
Wow, no pressure.
No pressure, right? I mean, all the
Yeah.
lights, all the camera, everyone's looking at you. And I nailed the lines on my first take.
Nice.
One of the important things that I think, actors and, anyone looking for the opportunity has to remember is opportunities come once in a lifetime, but
Mm.
they do come. They do
Yeah.
come. Sometimes they come in ways where you don't see it. You don't see this as like a huge opportunity, or you may see this as like, oh, this is great. I get to speak in a movie. This is actually a massive opportunity, especially for someone like me who's been waiting for this for a while. So
Yeah.
uh, you have to be ready for your opportunity. You have to be
Yeah.
prepared, because if you fumble the ball, I mean, when's the next time you're going to get a pass again, right? So
Yeah.
I nailed it on my first take, and he loved it. And I came back the next day. He had a whole scene like just for me in the movie. And
Wow.
we shot it, we did it, and the rest is history.
All right. And did it make the movie?
Everything that I did in the movie made the movie. Not only that, but I had to go and do some ADR recording. I wish we could show people a clip of the movie.
Hmm.
That'd be great. Yeah,
Uh, well, we'll see if we'll do some sleuthing. We'll try to find it, maybe fit it in right here.
yeah.
So if we did, boom.
We're recreating the scene. Put every item down exactly where it was found. We need this spread out here. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Lay some paper down, let the stuff air dry. I don't want to degrade the DNA.
Carol, pick up the phone. Carol, can you hear me?
Get this paper over here. If you come across any clothing that's burnt or charred, separate that. I need to have somebody collect these cell phones here, get them down the cart. Okay?
And this is not the last time that you got to work with Peter Berg, correct?
No,
You're
no, no,
talking
not at
about
all.
opportunity. Um,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, one of the great things, if you are hardworking and you help add to someone's vision, people remember that.
mm,
If you're selfless, a lot of this is about being selfless. Man, that's the reason why we tell these stories. I mean,
yeah.
a lot of us struggle to tell these stories. I mean, our finances probably aren't the best. We are probably on our sixth uh, uh, shut off notice on whatever utility gas bill there is. I mean, we go through a lot to tell these stories. And so when you're selfless and it's about, not becoming famous, but actually telling a great story, the person who's directing the film, who's making the film, they love that. They love that.
Mm,
And so one of the good things about Pete is, he remembered me,
yeah.
and I ended up seeing him on a set of a commercial, and he remembered me right away. And we spoke, and lo and behold, 7 months later, I'm on the set of Mile 22.
Right. And that's with Mark Wahlberg, correct?
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg, Ronda Rousey, Lauren Cohen, John Malkovich,
Hmm.
yeah, some
And what
great
did you get to
people.
do on that one?
So on that one, I played Jacob Stone. I played a analyst,
Hmm.
a U.S. embassy analyst, and pretty much my job was almost, kind of like a nerdy type of hacker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I imagine you feel pretty good about being a working actor in New England. How do you feel about the opportunities that are here? And yeah, how do you feel about the opportunities here versus uh, New York, LA? Do you feel like you can be a working actor here?
I mean, Jamie, that's such a great question. Goodness. I mean, I'm hesitating because I want to be nice. I
Yeah.
mean,
We can
I
be
mean,
real too. Yeah.
it's is it possible to be a working actor in New England? Sure. I mean, it's possible. But I mean, I think that one of the things that New York and LA, those markets have on us is the filmmakers that are there, um they're creating films for market, they're creating films for consumption. And I think that here in New England, in order for us to sustain ourselves here, we actually need to make films, not just for the artistry of it or, winning the film festival, but for actual consumers.
Mm,
And I think that's something that, if we look to that area and we can actually, we get through the business of making a film, not just the creative aspect of making a film, not just the going to set and having
mhm.
good cameras, but the actual business and the marketing plan of a film. I think that we would do a lot better, and a lot of us actors here will be able to sustain ourselves and be able to thrive from doing
Mm.
that.
Yeah, no, there were a few consecutive years there where there were more and more and more projects. But I think things have slowed down a little bit since the strikes. Still kind of clawing our way
Yeah,
back, trying to get things ramped back up. So I'm just looking forward to seeing that as well. Um, because
yeah,
we are Hollywood East, and it has seemed like there has been more opportunities. Like it's been a growing market for film here for the bigger
yeah,
ones, like you had mentioned, the more marketable, bigger blockbuster type, films. So,
Yeah.
just hoping to see more of that. Was there any other moment on set that has been your favorite so far?
I mean, there's so many great ones. I remember working on Free Guy and just being able to, first of all, I mean, everyone that worked on that movie was just amazing. Every single person was just amazing. And I had a moment with Ryan and Sean on that movie
Hmm.
that very very much stands out to me. It was really good. You know, we kind of bonded. We had like a three-way hug. So
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Buddy buddy with Deadpool there.
Yeah,
BFFs.
absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about Trumpet Gumbo. So this is a proof
Absolutely.
of
Yeah.
concept film, is that right?
Yes, it is. It's a proof of concept film. It's written and directed by Brad C. I mean, Brad is just such an amazing person. I've been working with Brad now for several years on a few films, and this film it takes place in New Orleans, and it's about Chef Buddy Bontop, who is an aspiring chef. He won restaurant roulette, and now he has a mentorship that he has to do with Chef DeLuca, who is this hard-hitting Gordon Ramsay type chef, real strict, real structured by the book, and he sort of puts Buddy through the ringer. This is such a great story. Buddy's father, you know, he lost his father in Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans, and so you know, Buddy's being raised by his mother, and when you're young and you're being raised in the streets, I mean, he literally hustled food,
Hmm.
from a food truck, and so I really really love this story, and I just think it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, and so how do you get into the mindset of that character? How are you sort of preparing both to play the character and to get this movie made with other local filmmakers?
Well, the first step was just having a conversation with Brad and just really, kind of diving into the story and really understanding, what it was that he is looking for. And, once that has been established, then what I love to do is just kind of understand the character's backstory, who he is, where he comes from. Where he comes from says a lot about who he is as well, where he's raised at, the environment in the areas, who his parents are. And once I can understand that and kind of understand the lingo and the dialect, then it's really important to understand his motivations, why he wants what he wants, why he fights for what he fights for. And ultimately I like to know what his purpose is. And so really what I've been doing is just kind of, studying the New Orleans scene. And, Buddy's father was a jazz player, and
Hmm.
New Orleans jazz in particular. There's a difference.
Oh yeah.
And so I've just been really listening to a lot of New Orleans jazz and really, understanding the city of New Orleans and the people there. I mean, those people must be some extremely strong people, to overcome what they had to endure. And I know the city still hasn't been the same since the hurricane, and a lot of
Hmm.
people were lost, and what that's done to people. So really just kind of diving into that and understanding that has really helped me
Hmm.
to, understand a character a lot better.
And so how can people help to get this made? Like how can people help in the process of creating this proof of concept, be a part of it and maybe, get to watch it too?
Absolutely. I mean, really what we need is, funding, funding to make the film. That always helps, even
Hmm.
if, you know, all you have is $5 to donate. Trust me. I mean, all of that helps. We have an Indiegogo, and if you like to go, you can go into the Indiegogo and you can check out the video that's there, and you can read up on the synopsis. That will help. Also, sharing the story. Uh, Sharing the video that we have there, that helps, just spreading the word so we can really get a wider audience to
Hmm.
view it and to watch it. I mean, things like that, just that helps
Yeah.
a lot as well.
So what happens with a proof of concept once it's created and done? What's the next step? Where does it go?
Really to take it and to submit it into film festivals. I mean, if you can get it into festivals and you can get into the right festival, the festivals with the distributors, then you have a good chance of someone watching it and saying, "Hey, that looks great. I think I want to be a part of that," and helping to see this come
Mm.
to fruition. It's important when you have a proof of concept to actually have the script ready to go after. There's
Yeah.
no sense in doing a proof of concept and you haven't written a script yet, because then if someone likes it and they're like, "Hey, can I see the script?" Right?
Hmm.
So definitely having the script done and kind of having that package complete. And once you can get it into a good festival, you get a distributor who likes it, or a sales agent who potentially wants to take it and shop it around and get it picked up. Then you are starting to work deals with streaming platforms or places to, fund the larger film. Yeah.
Right. And so why is this story important to tell?
I think this story is important to tell because, I mean, when you think about what the first of all, just the story of New Orleans itself to me is just an epic story of survival, of endurance, of courage, of bravery. And, this story, it shows a young man who has to cope with the loss of his father and how food helped him to connect with his father again.
Mm.
And I think that in itself, just having people understand that dynamic, the dynamic of a child losing a parent, and a young man losing a father, and having to overcome that. I think a story like that can help people understand better what it is that these types of people go through. So I think that's why the story is important to tell.
It sounds like there's a lot of humanity there that can resonate, for sure. So Brandon, tell us, are there any other projects that you're working on, that you have worked on, that we can see you in, that we can look forward to?
I am the lead actor and producer in the film in Trumpet Gumbo. So
Hmm.
please look for Trumpet Gumbo. Uh, this movie's going to be epic. Help us out by donating to the Indiegogo. That will help as well. I just directed my first short film. It's a movie called Billy Something. It's an action comedy about a retired boxer who's broke down and out and has to take a job that he doesn't want in order to make some money. It's starring Brahms Gennard, Jaime Hernandez, and Naheem Garcia. It's gonna be amazing. I'm also writing a series called Hardened.
Hmm.
We also have a proof of concept for that. Um, and yeah, I got a couple things going on. Yeah.
All right, you're a busy guy. So where can people find you? Do you have handles, a website? Where can people find you, support
Yes.
you?
So you can follow me. I'm on Instagram at Brandon Scott Scales on Instagram. Uh, Follow me. Keep up to date with what I got going on, and I hope to see you guys soon.
Awesome. All right, Brandon Scales, thank you so much for being on the Hub on Hollywood.
Yes, thank you, Jamie.
Thank you so much, Brandon, for being with us. Check the links below for the Indiegogo page if you'd like to support that film that is being put together as a proof of concept right now. And for more content like this, for more local filming, local talent, everything to do with movies and movie making and loving films here in New England, give us a like, give us a share, subscribe, follow. We're everywhere that you listen to podcasts, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, etc., etc. You can watch us and our beautiful faces on YouTube. So please like us, please subscribe, please share, because that helps us to continue to bring this content to you. And if you are a local filmmaker, you are someone who is bringing movie magic to life, bringing your ideas to the screen, whether you're an actor, a director, a stunt guy, we love all of it, and we would love to feature your work here on the Hub on Hollywood. So please reach out to us and we will share the love with you. And speaking of sharing the love, I really enjoyed the new movie If, which stands for Imaginary Friends, starring John Krasinski, Ryan Reynolds, Kaylee Fleming, and a whole host of A-list celebrities who voice the actual imaginary friends themselves. So the premise of this movie: after discovering that she can see everyone's imaginary friends, a young girl embarks on a magical adventure to reconnect forgotten ifs with their kids, who are now adults. I went to go see this with my 8-year-old son, and he really enjoyed it. I was very much on the fence. I was very iffy about this. I didn't exactly love the character designs of the imaginary friends, and I thought that, you know, it could have been poorly done very easily. The CGI and all of that could have really run away with this story. But I think that they did a good job in reining that in enough. But the sequences where it's just all imagination and all creatures, that is where the story gets a little bit muddled, and a little bit slower or more difficult to follow, not knowing, you know, exactly where are we, what's going on, what's happening in terms of the story. But other than that, this has a really good rating on Fandango. 87% on Fandango, which are the fans that have been putting their reviews. Rotten Tomatoes, however, not agreeing. 48% on the fresh meter there with Rotten Tomatoes. But if you're just looking for a simple film, the story is very emotional without giving away any spoilers or anything. John Krasinski plays the father. Kaylee Fleming does just a beautiful performance from such a young actress. There are some really emotional beats in this film, especially towards the end, and I was very impressed with her acting abilities. Ryan Reynolds is Ryan Reynolds. Obviously, he is a character that we are not exactly sure who or what he is, without giving anything away. So, but I feel like Ryan Reynolds in a lot of his recent movies has become a little bit one note, has been a little bit Deadpool in everything that he does. I don't know. Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? Let us know in the comments below. But I love Ryan Reynolds, but I think I'd like to see a little bit more seriousness from him, and I think that he attempts that in this film, but I don't exactly know that his performance lands. Fortunately, it doesn't overshadow the amazing job that Kaylee Fleming does in this film. So if you're just looking for something that I think that your kids will enjoy, I think that this is a great movie to go out and see. I think it looks great on the big screen. It sounds great on the big screen. So if you want something nice to go take your kids to, that also deals with mental health issues, with anxieties, with fears, I think it's perfect. It's fine. It's great for that and for your kids. Was it the most spectacular movie I've ever seen? No. But I don't think it deserves the 48% on the Rotten Tomatoes scale that it is currently getting. John Krasinski, I love that he brings in his wife Emily Blunt. He's got Steve Carell from The Office, and among the characters who voice the imaginary creatures, the imaginary friends. So I give it a, let's say I give it a solid 7 out of 10 shirtless Kylo Ren. That's pretty good for me. But what do you think? What do you think about the movie If? Did you enjoy our interview with Brandon Scales? What movies are you a part of that are filming in the New England area right now? Reach out to us. We'll feature you here on the Hub on Hollywood. Thank you for joining us. And until then, until next week, I'm Jamie Blanco. You have a fabulous week. We'll see you then. Bye.